Have you ever had something shared with you in Google Drive and gone to someone else's computer or gone to another device and said, I don't have access to that shared document anymore? Good news is, if you've got access to your account on whatever device, you will generally have access to whatever has been shared with you. Stay tuned. I'm going to show you how to do that today. Welcome to Rise and Shine, your daily business tech boost with me, Charly Leetham. If you're a small business owner looking to simplify technology and get real, actionable advice from someone with 35 years of IT experience, you're in the right place. Every episode, I'll dive into tools and systems like email, CRM, marketing and tracking, and I'll break them down into bite-sized tips you can use straight away. Your time is valuable, so let's get straight to the point. It's time to work smarter, not harder. Rise and Shine, each dose of business tech inspiration with me, Charly Leetham, episode number 718. It is Walkthrough Wednesday, and I'm going to be talking a bit about Google Drive and how it works and how you can find your content. And then I'm going to go through a couple of hints and tips for Google Drive that you might not have previously seen or know, because there's a lot to learn in all these online systems, and they're constantly evolving. And you think you know it, or you think it's not even that you think you know it. You just need to go and do something. So you go and do it and you don't dig down. And sometimes you just need someone to say, did you know you could do this? And wow, that makes my life so much easier. Anyway, today's episode is inspired because someone came to me the other day and said, do you have access? Excuse me. I'm just getting calls, so my nose is a bit funny. Do you have access to this file? Because I'm on a different computer and I don't have that set up on this system. And I thought, that's interesting. And the reason I thought that was interesting is because the file had been shared with both of us, and it was in Google Drive. It had been shared through Google Drive. It had been shared with both of us, which meant that if we were logged into our Google accounts, no matter what device we were on, we would be able to find it. Now, this is something that a lot of people I've spoken to, I've got to be very careful. I don't like absolutes. A lot of people I've spoken to don't quite understand is that login is tied, or that information is tied to the Google account. So if you are logged in on that Google account on any device and you go to Drive, anything that is being shared with you on that Google account in Drive will be accessible on that device. You just need to know where to go look for it. So anyway, that's what inspired this episode. So I'm going to go through that. I'm going to go through a couple of things that you may or may not have realized you can do with it, and just a few things that I think is going to make your life a little easier in using Google Drive. So we're going to start with a screen share, of course, and then I'm going to go through how you find files that have been shared with you. And then I'm going to go through how you can do some organization and just some of the little hints and tips on Google Drive. So stay tuned. I will be back in just a moment with a screen share. Alrighty, so this is just one of my throwaway Google accounts. I use these often just to do these kind of demonstrations for you. So when you log into Google Drive, when you go to drive.google.com, it will default to whichever account you have showing up here in the right-hand side. If you have multiple Google accounts logged in, you are going to have to use up here on the right-hand side, and change your account to the right one if you're looking for a specific thing. So like I've got business accounts, and I've got throwaway accounts, and I've got a personal account. So sometimes I can get a little bit confused as to which account I'm using. This is just a throwaway account. I put some things up here, as you can see, so that you can have a look. Yes, I'm a crocheter, so I really, really like this stuff. So I've got some patterns here that I've thrown up just to use. All right. So this is Google Drive. When you log in, this is what it looks like. This is not particularly customizable. I'm going to say that right up front. There's not a lot you can do here that will change this layout. You've got suggested folders and suggested files. There is a couple of things. One thing you can do that's going to change layout a little bit, but this is it. I would not necessarily recommend that you work in this screen, in the home screen. It's kind of useless if you've got a lot of documents and a lot of files and a lot of folders and you're trying to work through them. I just would not work in this screen. But let's go through it. The thing that we want to talk about, first of all, is where do I find things that have been shared with me personally, previously and personally? Where do I want to find them? Now you'll notice in the left-hand menu, you've got this shared with me option here. This is gold. I'm going to click on it. And I've only got one thing shared with me, and it's my gloves pattern. I don't even know who shared that with me. But anything you've had shared with me that you've clicked on through a share by link, like it's anyone with a link can access it, it's going to appear in this folder here. So if you've got something that you know was shared with you previously, make sure you're logged into the right Google account. Go to drive.google.com, click here in shared with me, and you're going to have everything that was ever shared with you in that section. As long as it's still shared with you, you'll still be able to access it. That's where we start. Now you'll notice that the only real option you've got here is date shared. You can sort it from by the date, the name, and that's ascending or descending. So you can say date shared, I want it new to old or old to new. So if you know it was shared to you ages ago and you're not quite sure what it was, you can say old to new, and that's going to give you the oldest ones. You can organize it so you can see shared folders in just on the top as a separate section, or within all of the files, with all the files as well. So it just depends on how your brain works, what works best for you. You can look for the name, you can sort it by name, you can sort it by date modified, you can look at when you modified it or when you opened it as well. So that helps as well. But that's kind of all you've got in terms of how you can organize that view. You can have a look at, what types of things oh, I know it was a PDF. So let me go and click on a PDF and see if I can find all the PDFs, see what PDFs were shared with me. Oh, I know it was a folder that was shared with me. I can click on folders and just look at the folders that were shared with me. You can look at who shared who you've shared information with previously by clicking on that people button. I'm not going to do that because I've only got a couple of addresses in there and they're not very helpful. You can look at when it was modified, the last time it was modified. And I think this is the last time it was modified, not just by you, but by anyone. And then you can look at the source. Did it come through Gmail or Meet? Not very useful if it was shared to you within Google Drive, but there you have it. So this shared with me screen is really, really important. This is where I work so much of the time when I'm using Google Drive, because people share things with me and I need to go and find them. And this is normally where I go and find it. The other view that you might find really useful is this recent view. Recent is stuff that has been changed recently, either by you or by someone else, okay? When I'm editing documents with people, if I'm looking to see if something's been changed and I need to go and look at it, I normally go and look at this recent screen. Sometimes it's not as helpful as I hope it would be, but it certainly is mostly useful. Then there's the start. I don't have any in start, and we're going to come back to that in a minute, but the starred view is your favorites starred. You put a star on them, they're favorites. They can be files or folders that you add a star to. We're going to come to that so you can work out how to use that. But that's the first thing I really wanted to share with you in this episode, is when you're looking for something that you know was shared with you, that you know either belonged to another organization and they gave you access to a folder or to a file, come to this shared with me section. You will find it a goldmine for information. At least I think you'll find it a goldmine for information. Let's talk about a couple of the other things we can look at. We've got this My Drive. Now I'm only going to look at things that are on the web. I'm not going to look at the streaming files to your computer, the Google Workshop or desktop app that you can get. I am only going to be looking at the web application. So this is accessible if you're looking at it on your phone or if you're looking at it on the web. My Drive is anything that you've got saved to your Google folder. So if I go into my images folder, you'll see that I've put up my background for my podcast just as a demonstration, and you'll see that that's here, and it's my file. I can tell it's my file because it's in here. If I go to my miscellaneous folder, there's nothing in there, and I've left it blank so I can show you, and I do some examples here. And if I go to my patterns folder, I've only got my Tunisia Invest in here. Isn't that interesting that I've only got my Tunisia Invest in here, but if I go with shared with me, I have these fingerless gloves. That's because that was shared with me. Now, once something becomes shared with you, it doesn't naturally go into your Google Drive, which means it doesn't take up space in your Google Drive. However, I like to be really organized. I hope other people do too, but I like to be really organized. And when something like this comes in and I know that this is a pattern, I'm going to go and look in my patterns folder first of all to see if I can find the pattern I'm looking for. So one of the things and one of the habits that I get into, and one of the hygienes, my organization hygiene things that I get into, is when I get something shared with me, I click on this more actions button, the three dots, and I come to this organize button, and you'll see I can say add a shortcut. Now, if I click add a shortcut, it gives me the folders. It'll give me my suggestions. I can look at starred, whether I want it in starred, whether I want all, and if I want all locations. It will tell me, give me the folders that I use most, but I'm going to just go to all locations so I can show you how to do this fully. So I want to star this and add a shortcut to fingerless gloves in my patterns folder. So I'm going to go to all locations. I'm going to go to drive. Now I'm not going to click add here. I'm going to click this, the chevron, the greater than sign to the right hand side of the add button. And click on that. I'm going to find my patterns folder and I'm going to click on that. And then in here, I'm going to click the add button. Okay, so now that's still going to appear in my shared with me folder. I can't get it out of there because it is still shared with me. But if I now go back to my drive and go to my patterns folder, if you remember before, I only had the Tunisia Invest. Now I've got my fingerless gloves. Now, there's a couple of things to note here. I told you just now that I could tell that this was my file. I know this is my file. I know that it's taking up space in my folders because there's nothing here on the right-hand side. But if you look here, sorry, left-hand side, the other right-hand side, Charlie. If you look at my fingerless gloves pattern, you'll see on the left-hand side over the document icon, it's got that little arrow that's pointing up. What that's telling me is that that is a shortcut. That is a shortcut to something that was shared with me or to another folder. Now, if I want this to appear in another folder as well. So if you just say you've got it, that it needs to appear in 3 or 4 folders, I don't know why you would, but Google has decided that this is a great idea. So you click on the 3 dots again, and you click make a copy. This is a long way around doing it. Now you'll see once you've made a copy of your file, it says copy of fingerless gloves. Now what you can do is click on those 3 dots on the copy and do organize and say move. And you can move that copy into, for example, let's go do this properly, all locations, my drive, misc, we're going to put it into miscellaneous, and we're going to say move. So it's now gone out of my patterns, and if I now go to the miscellaneous, misc file, sorry, I've now got copy of fingerless gloves. So what I can also do here is click on the 3 dots again and click rename and get rid of the copy. So now I've got shortcuts to fingerless gloves in miscellaneous, miscellaneous, and in my patterns folder. Okay, so that's one thing you can do, and that's one way you can keep yourself organized. So, you know, when you've got things shared with me, make sure you're moving them into folders on your Google Drive, so that, or your G Drive, so that you can find them when you need them. Okay, so then the next thing that we should talk about is also favoriting things. So if you've got something that is something that you use a lot, or a folder that you use a lot, and it's really difficult for me to sort of demonstrate how effective this is when you've only got a couple of things in your My Drive. So if I just click on My Drive again, when you've got something in My Drive, and it's something that you use a lot. So for example, I have a lot of folders and I always want to know where my patterns folder is. You've got this favorites or start, and I was talking about that before. You can favorite an entire folder by clicking on the 3 dots, clicking on organize, or mousing over organize, and clicking on add to start. Now, if I go to the start in my left-hand menu here, my patterns are here. You can also do this just on files. So let's go to images and make my image a favorite. Click on the three dots, click on organize, add to start. And now you've got in start, I've got my images and I've got my patterns. If they're no longer a favorite and it's not something that you need anymore, you should be able to click on the three dots, click on organize and say remove from start. So that's some ways around organizing. Well, another way to organize your files and your folders for things that have been shared with you, for things that you've got in your file system that you just need to have access to all the time. Something else that you might find useful, I don't particularly, and it's mostly because my brain just doesn't work that way, but on your folders, if you click on the three dots on your folders and click on organize, you'll notice that you've got folder colors and you can color code your folders. So for example, my patterns might be purple. Miscellaneous, I might code as red. And images, I might code as green, for example. That means when I'm looking at things, I can see, oh, anything that's red is more likely to be miscellaneous, unassigned things. Purple is likely to be folders associated with patterns, and green is likely to be anything associated with images. Your brain works that way. That's fantastic. That's a great way of organizing your content further. Now, if you click on those and then go into them, let's have a look. It doesn't change the underlying content, but if we add a new folder here, let's see what that does. So you can create folders within folders. It doesn't get the color of the top level folder. So it's always worthwhile when you're creating folders, if you're using color coding, go into your folder, click on organize, and this was patterns and that was the purple, and give it the same color as your top level folder. So when you're looking at things in the search, you can say, oh, they're patterns, they're images, they're whatever. So that's another way of organizing your folder system. It's probably worthwhile here talking about search and what you can do with your search functions. There's so many options you've got available, and most people, I feel, will look for file names, but there are other things you can be looking for. So one way to get into the search is just to click in the search bar at the top. But if you don't want to do that, you can just hit the backslash, I think it's backslash, yeah, backslash key, and that will automatically put you up into the search. So backslash, or just click in the search. You can type in a file name. I'm going to put background, for example, and that will bring up here in the list all of the things that have background in it. You'll notice you've got the ability to advanced search here, but also on the top right-hand side of your search bar, you've got the advanced search options as well. So if you come in and you're not sure and you don't know what the file name is, but you know something about it, you can click on the top right, that slider bar on the right, top right-hand corner. I mean to stutter. You can look at all the options that you have available here. You can look for photos, you can look for different types of files, you can look for all your archives, you can look for all your spreadsheets, you can look for all your forms, all your audios. If you don't know what the name is, but you know what type of file it is, that might be helpful. You can look who owns it. You can look at anything owned by you, anything owned by anyone, anything that isn't owned by you, which might also mean owned by, they're shared with you, right? And you can look for things that are owned by a specific person. Has the words. Now, if you put in words here that are in a file, this will look through PDFs, it will look through archive. I think it'll look through archives, it will look through your documents, your spreadsheets, your presentation files, and find anything that has the words. Now, if you're looking for specific words, wrap them in the double quotes, in the quotation marks. So, client presentation, for example. You're looking for anything that's got the word client presentation and as appears like that, wrap them in the double quotes, and it will look for that exact pattern within the file. So if you just type in client presentation like that, it's likely to find the words client and the words presentation, but not the words client presentation together. Just a little hint. Okay. Item name. So if you know part of the file name, if you know roughly what it was called, you might be able to put that in and it will bring you up anything that's got that in it. Just be aware that if you put in, it will come up with anything that has the the pattern in it. So into, interest, interrupt, if any of those will be found. So just remember the item name, be as explicit as you can to reduce the amount of things that get hit. Location, you can look anywhere. My Drive shared with me more locations. What does more locations give us? Let's have a look. So you can look in specific folders, basically. You can also say look in the rubbish bin, in the trash can, in the starred, or whether it's been encrypted. You can look at any time it has been modified. Anything that's been, this is something that's part of Google Drive. We're not going to even touch into it, but anything that requires approval or signature, you've got awaiting my approval or requested by me. Anything that you have shared to someone. So if you have shared something to someone and you know their email address or their name, you can actually put in the shared to folder there, shared to the email address or the name, and it will show you everything for that. It's also got whether you've got any follow-ups, whether you've got suggestions only or comments assigned to you. So when you're using the markup functionality within the Google Docs system, you can see what's waiting for you to come up. So the search functionality is really powerful. I really recommend that you get really comfortable with it to use it. Really, really useful.
The next thing I want to show you is how you can find out information about these files, how you can look at the versioning on these files. Versioning is a really powerful tool. Let's first of all just have a look at the details on these files. So to find the file details, find the information from the folder, the file you're looking for, click on the context menu, the three dots menu, and come down to file information. You see you've got several things available to you here. We're going to just click on details first of all. So that opens a panel on the right hand side, and on this panel you can see the name of the file. You see details is highlighted. You get the thumbnail of the file. Who has access? This says it's private to you. When you share it, it'll tell you whether it's shared or not. It might even tell you who it's shared with. You can always manage access. You manage your sharing of that file from this menu. There are no security limitations apply. If there are any, they will appear here. And then the details on it, the size of the file, what it is, where it's located, when it was modified, when it was opened, when it was created. And you can also add a description. You might find that really useful if you've got things that aren't obvious by the file name, but you need to put an excerpt or a piece of information in about what that file is. So that's the details of the file. If we then click on activity, you'll see that this was uploaded to a folder called My Test 2. Now, isn't that interesting? Because it's not in My Test 2, it's in patterns. I'll go through that in just a moment. But you can see here that I uploaded this today, and I did that because I was doing this demonstration. So there's some information about the file that we've got here. Now, if I go up to My Drive and click on the patterns folder and click on the three dot menu, the context menu on the patterns folder, and say folder information, let's look at details. And then your same sets of information here, but if I click on the activity and scroll all the way to the bottom of it, you'll see that it says here that I created an item, and it's My Test 2. I uploaded the file to it, and then I renamed it. Okay, so I was setting up for this demonstration, this podcast episode, and I renamed it. And then you can see all the other things that we've done in this folder. So this is really helpful information. Okay, that's that. What was the other thing? Oh yes, let's go back into patterns. So, in fact, no, I'm going to go to shared with me. And in shared with me, I've got the original file that was shared with me. I'm going to click on the context menu, and I'm going to click on file information. I'm going to click on details. It gives me all the information. It says who has access. I don't have permission to view the sharing. Well, that's fine. It was shared with me. I don't need to know who else it's been shared by. It's not taking up any space in my storage, and this will be blurred out, but it shows you who the owner of the file is. So if I'm ever wondering who shared the file with me, can always look in file details and see if I can get it out of there. Very, very helpful stuff. Alrighty, that's those bits. Now I want to talk about versioning next. So we're going to go back to my drive, going to go to patterns. I know I'm working in patterns a lot. And what we're going to do is under file information, so the context menu, file information, you'll see we've got manage versions here. If I click on that, not much here because I've only uploaded the one version, but if you've got someone who's sharing with you Word documents and you've been pulling them into your Google Drive to save them, or you've been pulling them in to edit them and then send them back, because you can do that, you don't have to upload a different file each time you get that in. You can just upload it as the same file name. You can upload it as, click on that upload a new version and upload a new version to this file, to this instance here, and it will give you all of the versions of it under here. Now, a couple of things to notice about this. The first one is that they're temporary versions and they will only be kept for 30 days or until there are 100 versions stored. That stops things piling up and having too many copies of something or too many versions of something to go back and for it to be useful. I get it. I totally get it. Just remember that every version you keep count towards your storage. Once you decide that you really want to keep a version so that you go back for whatever reason, maybe you need it for compliance to say, yeah, this is the modification we did on the file. When you get a version in here, you need to click on the three-dot menu. You're not going to get it here because this is my original, and you will have the option to keep it forever. So once you click on that, they will be kept forever, and the count will go towards your storage limit. So just bear that in mind. What you won't get is multiple copies of the one document. Now, I find that really useful, by the way. When I get document 1A, document 1 underscore Charlie, document 1 underscore Chris, on document 1 underscore Joe, for example. I don't know which one is the current version. I don't know which one I should be working on. So using the upload new version, I can keep that all in order and say, these are the versions I've got. Which version did I need to go back and look at? Which one do I need to edit? What do I need to do with it? Okay, so versioning is really, really important. Helps you keep things organized, helps you keep all your versions in one place. Give it a go. Let me know what you think. Alrighty, so that's kind of all I wanted to cover with Google Drive. Just real quickly before I wrap this up. What we've done today is, if you're looking for something that's been shared with you, always look in your shared with me folder or menu item option. Do some searches, use your context menus at the top here. What do they call them? Chimes? Chips? I'm not sure. But use these to help you filter it out to find what you're looking for. If you're still having trouble, use your search. Be as explicit as possible. You can actually even search for text within the document if you're not sure what you're looking for. Once you've found it, organize it into your own Drive system so that you can find it more easily in the future. And take advantage of some of the organizational facilities that come with Google Drive to make it easier to find things, to organize your content, to make it visually more entertaining, enticing for you. All right, that's all I wanted to really go through today with Google Drive.
So something a little different today, a little change of pace. I like to try and be organized. I get so many documents, and I'm sure you guys do too. We get so many documents shared with us. We get so much noise that we have to keep it organized. And like I said, when I got the message, I know I've got it, but I don't have it on this system. As if you can log into your Google account, you will have it on the computer, or you will have access to it on the device that you're accessing your Google account with. It's really important to remember that. That way you're not out in the field going, I need that document and I'm not on my desktop, so I can't get it. If you've got your phone and you can log into your Google account on your phone, and it was shared to Google Drive, you can normally get access to it. I'd love to know what you think. There was a couple of little hints and tips there. Were they useful to you? Would you like to know more about this stuff? Is there anything there that I got wrong that you do differently? You do differently, or that I got wrong? Let's try it that way, shall we? I would love to hear from you. Leave comments wherever you are watching or listening to this episode. If it was useful to you, please give it a like and share it with a friend who might need this information as well. As always, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. My stats tell me that a lot of you are watching, but not many of you are subscribed. So if you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. I really would appreciate it. Click the button at the top, ring the notification bell so you find out when I drop more content as well. Remember, I am here to help people wrangle their tech. That's what I do. This sort of stuff, technical problems, troubleshooting, online tech support, whatever you need, I can generally help. If you have anything that you'd like to discuss or you need help with, book your free 30-minute breakthrough session. Come across to Ask Charly Leetham, askcharlyleetham.com. Click the bright pink button in the top right-hand corner, and that'll let you book 30 minutes free with me. I will give you as much value in that time as I can. If you have already used your one free breakthrough session, it's one per person / company. If you've already used your free breakthrough session and you still want to work with me, thank you very much. I'd love to work with you too. Reach out and we will make that work. We will work out which package I've got works best for you. As always, guys, be good, be safe online, and be organized with your Google Drives. I will see you all for Firewall Friday. It's another doozy. See you then. Bye. Hey there, thanks so much for tuning in to Rise and Shine, your daily business tech boost. I hope today's episode gave you some actionable insights that will make your business tech work smarter for you. If you found value, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with other small business owners who could use a daily boost. For more tips, tools, and resources, visit www.askcharlyleetham.com. Until next time, keep rising, keep shining, and let's make tech simple together.